Finally. Oh my God. Cheers everyone that stuck around and waited. Absolute nightmare scenes. Yes, it was the sloppy Joes being very sloppy. Wrecked the camera. Camera didn't work. Had to go and get a new camera. Plugged the new camera in. And the computer decided not to work. I'm not exactly happy with the colour of this camera, but we're live and it is what it is. So we're just going to put up with it. And I did have graphics, but they don't work either. So we're just going to figure that one out and all, aren't we? Either way, let's talk about what's going on. And welcome everybody for joining us. Cheers for joining us. Cheers for hanging around for those who have stuck around. Let's get chatting. So what are we talking about? We are talking about Erik ten Hag obviously arriving in England, if not Manchester. He's gone to London, and he's meeting with some United staff at the offices. Believe Mitchell van der Gaag is going to be there. Probably assume Steve McLaren potentially going to be there as well. According to Romano, United have sent their scouts to follow Sergej Milinkovic-Savic several times this year, but negotiations are not underway. Now, the thing is, we've looked at a couple of different Lazio players, and there are potentially a couple of different Lazio players that might be for sale. Milinkovic-Savic makes a lot of sense. He's a good player. The money doesn't make a lot of sense, certainly for... I mean, actually, let me have a quick look how old he is. He is 27, turned 28 in February. So realistically, you're not going to get any sort of resale value out of Milinkovic-Savic. So 70, 80 million pound fee is unjustified. If it was more of a 50, high 60 million pound fee, you could do that. You look at, realistically, for anyone that's 80 to 90, 100 million, they've got to be 25 or under. 26 if they're mega. But once you start getting to 27, this is your last big contract. You're probably going to get a great contract here, but they're not going to be able to sell you, certainly not for any sort of real money. So that transfer fee makes little sense. But you've got Osimhen, you've got Koulibaly still potentially could come and do a job at United. You've got actually quite a lot of players that would be worthwhile looking at Lazio. So will United have sent scouts to watch Lazio? Yeah, of course they will have done. Were they specifically watching Milinkovic-Savic? I'm going to be honest and say I'd be surprised if they were. Loads of people asking about Michael Knighton's interview. He's actually agreed to come on Paddock, so me and Jay are going to be talking to him on Paddock. But I haven't watched this one yet. I will definitely watch it prior to having him on. But as Philip Collier says there in the comments, is this 2014? Why are we now being linked? I mean, I don't think it was 2014 we was linked to him. Might have been. But, like, he would have been a great signing all the way back then. But now... I mean, does he improve United? Yes, he does, right? So let's get that out of the way. This isn't me saying I'd rather play McTominay. No, absolutely not. But as you'll see in a minute, United are going to have to cut their cloth accordingly, and I don't think it makes any sort of sense. Another super chat there saying thoughts on a Michael Knighton interview. Haven't watched it yet. When I do, I will obviously do a reaction to it. KOTH Mike says, got right Blasky booed last night. Have a pint on me. Hope I'm doing well. Top gentleman. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciated. Osimhen and Koulibaly play for Napoli, not Lazio. Do you know what? I apologise. My head's a little bit scrambled getting this out. Either way, did he play in blue? It's close enough, innit? And they play in Italy. We'll figure it out. Either way, we'll have scouts in Italy and they'll be watching games. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Lazio's got other players that we're looking at. And I'm going to have a quick look now who it is that I had in my mind. Because I can't remember. And my head's a bit fried. Actually, not sure who it was. Looking at the squad now. There was somebody else that we've been linked with. I can't think who it is. Yeah, ignore me. I'm talking absolute fucking wibble. Allow it, though, because sometimes it happens. You get mixed up. There's only so many teams you can be asked about. Right, Mark Verjoy has been talking, and he says United flown out Erik ten Hag and Mitchell van der Gaag by private jet, to come to London yesterday. And they're going to meet with club officials before the end of the week to discuss the transfer window, which is pretty good. United are looking to invest. Here's what I don't like, right? Especially when you just talk about Milinkovic-Savic for somewhere in the 70 to 80 million euros fee. We're talking 140 million as our overall budget. And I understand this could have just been pulled out of his arse, especially even if this guy's got connections, which I think he's trying to suggest he does. Even if he does have connections with Erik Ten Hag, Erik Ten Hag's coming to discuss the transfer budget like right now. So I don't know if we'll know the budget going into that. And if we're talking about us bringing in Timber, Antony, Frankie de Jong, those apparently are offers on the table, according to him. That's not going to be feasible. This is why we're saying that United had to pick up people like a Kamara, who's now looks like he's going Atletico. I don't think it makes any sense to be looking at all of those players. Is this going to be supplemented by sales? Let's hope so. Let's hope it is, but like we have no way of knowing that that's going to be the case. So I wouldn't be putting the price tag in, too ring fenced at the moment on what we're going to be bringing in. Ludwig says Milinkovic-Savic is the 2022 version of Wes Schneider. Ronaldo just said that. Riley says club meeting in London. I'm sure we're Manchester based. We are, but our head office, annoyingly, is in that there London, in Mayfair actually. And that's where the CEO is based. So it's not the craziest idea to have meeting in London. Especially, there's a good chance they're probably going to go start talking to agents and stuff, and a lot of the agencies are based in London. So it is not the craziest thing, but it probably does need a little bit of explaining. And I remember the reasoning behind it. Someone mentioned a few years back, the reason for having a Mayfair office is London's very much seen as a hub city across the world. People that are on their way from New York to, say, the Middle East or even the Far East, they might stop off in London. Grabbing a sponsor to come and speak to you for an hour is feasible. And if that doesn't explain Manchester United in a nutshell, I don't know what does. The fact that we'd be willing to... do you think Mayfair office rent is cheap? Because I don't. I reckon it's probably a fucking fortune. So the fact that the club are willing to have and furnish and it's nice. It is nice. Our Mayfair office. The fact that we're willing to invest into that, but not the training ground or the stadium, purely for fucking wanking sponsors off, tells you everything you need to know about the priorities of Manchester United, doesn't it? Anyway. Mike McGrath says Lisandro Martinez is expected to cost around 30 million and Ten Hag has already advocated for him. I think people are just purely playing the fucking guessing game at the moment. 5'9" centre-back. Could mean that he's not overly asked about the direct play in England. It could also mean that he's got a couple of big centre-backs and he's thinking, I need speed more than that. Supposedly, Ten Hag says he wants a quick centre-half, but the other priorities include two midfielders, especially a number 6 as an orchestrator to build the attacks from. And yeah, that's that, I think. In terms of Antony, so supposedly this is, the two that he's demanded. Antony and Martinez, supposedly, he's warned United that if they don't act quickly, you're going to lose Antony. And that's his dream attacker, apparently. His agents already received concrete offers from various top clubs back in January. This season, 12 goals, 10 assists. Obviously, I don't know what the realities are in terms of getting those sorts of numbers from him in the Premier League. It's just not something I know what translates to. We are going to be doing a video, which is probably going to take us a minute or two to get done. But we are going to be doing a video probably as soon as the season ends. I would think we could probably get this one out. And we're looking at which leagues translate best to coming over to England in terms of signings. And that could be internal Premier League signings, internal academy promotions, Championship, and then La Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A, and Ligue 1. And we'll see which ones actually are worth spending your time on. I think you'll be surprised at what the other thing is. It's very much way to attack us, this, because we're talking about goals and assists as a way of measuring, which is very difficult to do, obviously, for a defender. So it's one of those. We will see where it goes with that. Any questions from anybody? The dude says Puyol's 178 centimetres and he was okay as a centre-back. Yeah, and Cannavaro wasn't tall as well. I just think it's preferred in it. I think being 6'1", 6'2" is very much what you could do with being as a centre-half, because then you can probably deal with all eventualities. If you are shorter, you are going to struggle against the teams that like to play a direct centre-forward. I would say, though, however, I think that you're looking at less teams playing that direct style. You're still going to get some in England, but it's less. Less than it used to be. Portal says it's the individual player, it's not the league. That's true, but you have to draw large comparisons. There's a lot of players can get outrageous numbers in Germany. Have they translated to England? It's not clear. So, it's a very, very broad stroke. So we will see what it's all about. Notch says United are in debt on past transfers. We need to apply for bank loans, which delay our transfer dealings. Yeah, that's part of that. Yeah. 2 seconds. Do I think we will see Ten Hag in the stands on Sunday? Well, it'd be highly convenient for him to have applied and got one in the ballot, wouldn't it? Although, no, for anyone thinking I'm being entirely serious, I do believe the club have a set number of tickets and stuff like that for club officials, and clearly he would just go down as a club official. Matthew says, when will I react to the interview? Be interested to hear your thoughts on it. Well, I've got to watch it first, and then once I've watched it, I'll figure it out. Is Michael Knighton trustworthy? I've never met him. Obviously, he was linked with buying the club at one point. I think the one clip I've seen of him where he said he decided not to buy the club and just get a seat on the board instead, I'm pretty sure that's not entirely accurate. From my conversation with Martin Edwards, I believe he didn't have the funds, or the funds weren't as concrete as he was making out. Who do I reckon our first signing over the line will be? No idea. Sunday Spoon says, thoughts on loaning Rashford to a season to Germany or France, let him score 20 goals and get his ego back? It depends who you bring in. At the moment, we need all the forwards we can get. I'm very sure Marcus can get back. I'm less sure that he definitely will get back, because it's very difficult to sort of pinpoint the reasons why it fell to pieces for him this season. But I think if you give him another real good go in pre-season, I think we'll rock it. How much is my WeScout membership? But I get someone else's login, so mine is free. Mine's somebody who works in football's login, someone who's got a great job, and thank you very much to that person. In a very, 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 very big team, and they just give me their login. Abhinav says, question, do I think Ten Hag has second thoughts on joining after watching that chant? I hope so. Richard says, Michael Knighton, isn't that the guy from Knight? No, Michael Knight was the guy from Knight Rider. Michael Knighton probably at one point owned one of those cars. Jerin says, a realistic number 6. We will look into it, because I think with Kamara going and Tchouameni seemingly going elsewhere, we will start to do a shortlist. Shortlist is going to be something we'll bring as soon as the season starts. Daniel Berry says Rashford is finished. I mean, he's had one bad season, really. And even that bad season, he still produced numbers. And the bad season was definitely bad. But a player that's played with a broken back for the club, I'm more than willing to give a bit of time to. John says, was having a debate with some mates the other day about United and most underrated signing, Cantona. Oh, actually, no, because I think everyone rates Cantona. I don't think anyone goes, no, he wasn't very good, do they? No, you're right. I don't know who our most underrated signing was. It probably could have been someone like a Jason Park, or maybe even Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick probably is our most underrated signing. He knitted everything together for that last sort of period of title charges and Champions League final appearances. And was a hell of a player that he should be in the Scholes Lampard debate, but for whatever reason he wasn't. Verdang says, how excited am I with what are going? Player wise, yeah, I think we've got to see a lot of players go. Andrew says, Steve, why is it feeling more and more like the De Jong situation is a carbon copy of Ramos? I'll tell you why, because when Ramos was linked with us, not when he actually went to Paris, when he was linked with us, there was talks that he was in contract negotiations. That's not the case with him, with De Jong at Barcelona. The reasoning why he could come in terms of they want to sell him seems very, very genuine. And Barcelona in transfer windows do mad shit. They do genuinely mad shit. So I don't think it's crazy for us to go. You've also got the fact that it's his previous manager. I think there's a chance here. I still don't know if it's... if I'd start printing up De Jong shirts, De Jong 6 or whatever. But yeah, I think he's... I think it could happen. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but I think it could. Michael says, do I think he may be thinking Lissandro can play CDM as he has done before? I don't know. Things will start to come out as soon as the season ends, because obviously there's fuck all else to write about from journalists, is there? Thoughts on the captaincy? This is an interesting one. I think I could make a lot of case for Ronaldo to be given a captaincy, I definitely do. Andy Williams says, I'm sick to death of this De Jong stuff. Mate, it's been a week. A literal week. Like, we have got 10 weeks or so of the summer to play out yet, mate. You're going to have to strap yourself in. Ed T says, Barca want Lewandowski and need to shift wages. De Jong's on huge wages. Then they have Gavi, who's more than capable of being regular in their position. There you go. The circumstances are not the same. The circumstances are very much not the same. What do United do with Palestri and Ahmad? Palestri, I never thought had the ability. Ahmad, the fact he's not been getting minutes playing for Rangers, and you've just had Dylan Levitt go and get like Player of the Season at Dundee. I think, and there's question marks over whether Dylan could come and get into the first team. So he definitely needs another loan out. Thoughts on Mella leaving? Damani was actually meant to be training with us this week. I don't think he's going to be signing for us. In fact, I would say I'm certain he's not going to be signing for us. He's still a very competent player. But I think he'd probably come and do a bit of fitness with us over the close season, and that's good for our lads, isn't it? Because hell of a player. Thoughts on Rio not playing in the Legends game? I haven't spoken to him about it, but I know that he's in a lot of trouble with his back. I think he struggles with his back more than he lets on. So I think it's probably down to something to do with that. Jerin says, literally worried about Sunday. Got a bad feeling Poole is going to win the Premier League. Well, if we do, I'm probably going to fuck off for a month or two. That's minging, isn't it, if that's going to be the case. Abitchith says, I'm sure the guy who was sick of the De Jong saga probably hates the Sancho to the core. That was 2.5 years. 2.5 years. And it was real as well, wasn't it? Andy says, I wish Ahmad went to Derby. Imagine Morrison together. I think there's a good chance we send some players to Derby next year. And I think that's really, really positive for them. I think Rooney's done a phenomenal job. Andre says, maybe we can swap some players with Barca for De Jong. But if they're struggling for wages, I would have thought probably not, in all honesty. Could Mella do a job in League One or the Icelandic League? It was a random call. Well, he went out on loan to Salford. Now, Salford's got a good squad in that division, but I think he made 3 appearances, so I think he's definitely more than capable. He had I believe he had an ACL injury, so I think he's clearly got to get some minutes back under his belt. Although I think he played, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he played 13 times for the under-23s this season and got 8 goals, 3 assists, so 11 goal contributions in 13 games. Whether it's under-23s or not, there's clearly a player there. He just needs to go and play men's football, and I'm sure he'll be fine. I'm sure he'll absolutely... I'm sure he'll have 1,000 offers of clubs. And I think that would be really good for him. We've been talking a little bit about what's coming with fan ownership and Stretford Paddock FC, and a couple of you guys that I know are in the comments right now, I've sent over the sort of website copy to and how we're announcing it and stuff like that. Keep your eyes peeled. We are less than 2 weeks from launch. So if you're interested in fan ownership, if you're interested in, I'm literally giving away 100% of Stretford Paddock Football Club. And I'll become one of you guys in terms of my ownership and my stake in the football team as well. That launched on the 1st of June. 50 plus 1 is not what we're doing. We are doing 100 plus none. And fans will have an absolute say in the full running of our football club and where we go, amongst other things. On Thursday, we find out what division we're going to be in next season. We have applied for a Step 7 league. Step 7 is the step right before you get into the FA Cup. We would have to go through a couple of divisions before we get into the FA Cup. But there's a lot of genuinely very exciting things on the horizon with us. The membership is going to be about 50 quid a year. We might be able to do that at £5 a month, depending on what the App Store allows us to do, because that's something that we can only do once we've submitted it to the App Store. For those that are interested, keep your eyes peeled. For anybody else, if you'd like to get involved in playing, volunteering, or even coaching, there's loads of opportunities. Please get in touch with us for any of that sort of stuff. For those that are aware of what's going on, I'm sure they'll attest. The next couple of years with this football team is going to be extremely exciting. Would we also get to decide what gets uploaded to the football channel? Probably not. I mean, maybe. We could maybe have some discussion around the content that goes on the football channel, but we have a producer, and that producer will be responsible for what goes out on that channel. And it's a new member of staff that's coming in to do that as well. So loads and loads of positive stuff. Where are we playing next season? I've put it out there, but we will officially announce it very soon. But it's back where we belong, should I say. Mike Lee says, sign me up, 30 goals a season. Well, can we get in the mix? But we've got a trial this Saturday. If you're interested, go and check out my Twitter. I recently just tweeted the details of what you need to do. If you want to come and join in, and if you want to come and get involved, then we have 4 teams. And I don't think everyone knew this. We have a first team. We have next season we will have a reserve team, a development team, and an under-21s. Those are all the 4 teams that we did this year. We debated putting an 18s in, but with everything else going on, it's been a bit much to administer. So it'll be the same 4 teams this year as next year. First year is always difficult when setting up a team. I expect all 4 of them squads to be very strong next season. So if you're interested, the fan ownership will be open to everybody, Manchester and Marrakesh and beyond. Like, we want to democratize the way football works. One of the reasons for why we did this was a heavy sort of play on what happened with the European Super League and the way that they were just going to take it away from all of us. And it was like, right, this is our little club and we're going to go and play each other now. And I just, at that moment, said, do you know what? Fan ownership is definitely what we're doing. And we're small fry. We are a speck on the globe of football. But I want to prove that you can do this. And I want to prove that you can do it with a worldwide fan base. Because, Paddock might be based in Manchester, but we do have a worldwide audience. And we've posted out, we've sold somewhere in the region of 2,000 to 2,500 shirts across 2 years, which puts us more than some League Two teams. But that fan base has come from the world. There has been shirts going to Alaska, to Brazil, to Argentina, to Peru, to Mexico, to Norway, loads in Ireland. Shocked me how big we were in Ireland. Spain, Italy, various different spots in Africa. I think we've had Nigeria, South Africa. There's a lot in Australia. There's some gone to Singapore. We are genuinely a global club, and what we want to be is the world's local club. We are not trying to take away Manchester United. If anything, this team was set up in homage to Manchester United. So this isn't a protest club. This isn't a protest against modern football. Obviously, we're a YouTube team. But we do want to show you that fans can actually run a football club, and fans can have a say in running a football club, and it can be successful, and that fans can be involved in the community of a football club. And this isn't going to be... this isn't a scheme for anyone to make money. It's literally a scheme for us to have a say in it. So you're not really buying shares that you can increase in value and move on. You're becoming an owner, very much in the Barcelona style. You become an owner, you have your say, it's democratized, and we hope that you feel like an owner into that as well. So did we sell any in Liverpool? We did actually sell in Liverpool, and we have players from Liverpool as well. And the fact that we have players that get the train from Liverpool, we have a group of lads that drive together from Leeds. Like, People have travelled far and wide to play for us, to watch us, to support us, and we want to keep that going. Ever consider coming Dublin for some pre-season games? We can look into it if we can get a minibus. One of the things I'm looking at for the next year's budget is getting a minibus. If we can get a minibus on a ferry, then we can make it happen. If I have to pay for like 30 odd flights, then it's not going to happen. John Cowell says, listening to you from Iceland, the store, not the country. Love it. Have we had any contacts or advice from FC United? No, we have not. Ryan says, apparently on Wikipedia, Knighton was let down by 2 investors before the deal went through. Yeah, I thought it was something along those lines. The game's live on YouTube for fans around the world. That's something we're looking into. We need a significant amount of budget for that. It costs us somewhere in the region of, I would say, about 1,500 quid a game to do that because of the sheer amount of manpower that you need to stream a game and equipment that we don't have. So for us to do that over the course of a season needs significant investment or sponsorship. And at the moment, the truth is we just don't have that yet. I also don't know if the internet is it. Friendlies in Wales. We were supposed to be playing a charity game very recently for a military charity that was in Wales, but it fell through last minute. But we are looking. We should be playing SE Dons if they don't shit out of it like they did last time. We should be playing Beatties, and we're talking to Spencer about playing hashtag as well over the summer. So there'll be lots of stuff going on. And if we can get out to Dublin, I would love to take the lads away, but cost is a factor. We are run to the bone. There isn't a lot of budget kicking around. Even with selling a lot of shirts, it's extremely difficult to do. So that's, if we can get to Dublin cost effectively, I would absolutely love to do that. And we want to do some content and meetups and live podcasts and stuff out there anyway. So that's the first place that we want to do that. And obviously because of the fan base that we've got is one of those in the mixer. Steffi said United fans who aren't from Manchester aren't real fans. How does that work? No, I didn't. When did I ever say that? I mean, I literally own a fan channel with a guy from Birmingham. Don't you think that would have been a fucking dumbass thing to say? I never said that in the slightest. Donald says, how do we feel about Frankie de Jong? Said United need to be a step up for a player and not like they're doing us a favour. Yeah, that worries me a little bit. The only reason I could justify that really would be because he's coming to work with Ten Hag. Do we have Liverpool fans in my squad? My assistant manager's a Liverpool fan. I told him I'm kicking him out of the fucking first team chat if they win at weekend. Jake says, do we ship Paddock shirts to China? From Manchester but currently living here. We do. Every shirt that we've got this season is sold out though. The next lot of season is next season's shirts hopefully should be out next month. We're just waiting to find out when. Are the boys going to do some stuff when in Melbourne? Yeah, I don't know what yet though, but I'm sure they will do. Is anyone moving on from last season? I'm sure there will be, but at the moment, nobody's told me that they are. A couple of people have mentioned here, set up a friendly with Bohemians. They are fan-owned. I'll look into that. I will. There's literally about 5 or 6 comments here saying the same thing, so I will look into it and see if we can do that. But I have no idea what their level is and how that would work. How do I feel about 5 at the back or 3 at the back next season? I'd be surprised if he does do that, but I'm not sure that he won't do that either. Have I heard the reports Ten Hag will be given? We talked about that. Yeah, I'm not sure what the score's going to be. I don't know how much we're going to get in terms of budget. 120, 140 million. It doesn't feel like enough, does it? What's my thoughts on United's new home kit? Never hear you talk about them. I'm nearly 40. The kits, they're fine. They're suitable. That'll do me. It's one of those, isn't it? Do I honestly think we'll sign Frankie? Dragging on. I think it could definitely happen. I'm not sure it happens, but I think it could definitely happen. What's more important, right back, centre back, left back, other than midfield and attack? Probably a right back. Ashton says, how do you go about becoming involved with Paddock? Have a look on my Twitter or Paddock's Twitter, and on there is a contact email address, and just contact us on that email address with whatever you can do. please don't just say, hey, I can help. Like, be specific and we can direct you in the right sort of direction with it. Any Paul Mitchell news? Not at the moment. Any chance of getting Ollie on 5? I'm sure Rio's asked. I don't know what he's asked, but I'm sure he bangs out texts and stuff like that. So I'm sure he would have asked. Breeze says, I don't think we're getting Frankie because of how much Javi's trying to keep him. Javi's playing the game. Ollie did this when he was like, no, I don't want Ashley Young to go, and at the same time shoving him out of the door. He did the same with Sanchez. Oh, Sanchez is a great player. We shouldn't be letting players like that go. At the same time, he's like, fuck him, get rid of him. Yeah, no. Do I think Garnacho in the squad could give Rashford competition to get some confidence back? I don't think you use other players to get people's confidence back. I think you just... Players pick the team. I don't think people fully understand what I'm saying when I say that. Players pick the team. If Garnacho's outperforming Rashford in training, I expect Garnacho to be getting a shirt at the weekend. It's as simple as that. My only... the only agenda I ever have with Manchester United is, can we get the best 11 players out on the pitch to give us the best result every weekend? I don't give a fuck who those players are. I couldn't care less who those players are. The only agenda is Manchester United getting good and winning stuff. Have I spoken to Rennie at all the past few weeks? No, because I don't want to put him in a position where he would have to lie to me, and what's the point? If he got the job, I would just say, congratulations, glad to have you back, and let's meet up when you're allowed to. Ed says, would love Larson on 5, probably the player I regret us signing so late in his career. Yeah, well, we've had him on Paddock. I think Adam went over to Sweden to interview him, actually. Yeah, I'd like to talk to Larson a little bit as well. Any word on Greenwood? Nothing. Would I rather City win the league or United finish in a Europa spot? Right, now, here's the kicker to that, is because City not winning the league means somebody else wins the league, doesn't it? And I don't fucking want that to happen this week. Should we leave it on that? Am I even live? No, I'm thinking up all these fucking questions from you lot in my head. Cheers for tuning in. I'm potentially doing a live later tonight. It's not 100% confirmed, but potentially going to be doing a live later tonight. So if you want some questions that you can actually put in depth, especially if it's on what we're doing on June the 1st, because I need to get FAQs off you lot so I can put FAQs in there. I need to know the bits that I've said that you don't get, or the bits that you don't fully understand. If you've got any questions on that front, please put them in once the video's finished into the main chat, so I can start addressing those questions and put them out. Andy Mitten has come out saying Rangnick has failed as an interim. You can't disagree with that. He has. He's been disappointed on the field, but I think it's not 100% him. I think there's a lot of the players need to look in the fucking mirror and all. They've absolutely let us down. But that's it from me for this morning, or this afternoon. It was meant to have been morning when I went live. But cheers everyone for tuning in, everyone that hung around. Like I said, if you've got any questions that you want to stick in, bang all of those questions in. Make sure to subscribe as well, because I think I am a ball hair off. I think I'm 100 or so off 200k, and that would be a nice little mile. No, 69, nice, away from 200k. If you want to hit subscribe. Let's get over 200k. If we get over 200, in fact, you know what? I'm going to stay live until we get over 200k, and then I'll go live later tonight if we get over that. Is that fair? I think that's fair, isn't it? So hit subscribe if you're watching and you're not subscribed. What are you playing at? Get that subscribe button smashed, and I'm going to stay live until we do it. How about that? 69 to go. Richard Littlewood says, think Milinkovic-Savic has a year left on his contract, so the suggested fee is wild. That is wild. Charlie Golf says, subscribed, love it. Jamie Gillespie says, definitely the players. Rangnick's a genius. We've been let down. We've been let down on a couple of fronts here. Hit that subscribe. I can see it going up. I've got the counter right there next to me. 5 have just subscribed. Keep it going. 6 have just subscribed. 8 have just subscribed. Keep it going. Any news on the Deadwood yet? There's been something a little bit on Eric Bailly in terms of the rest of them coming in. Yeah, there's a lot more. There's a lot more need to come in. Mark Wayne says, colour looks good to me, Steve, very natural. No, it's not. It isn't. And it's a little bit washed out, if anything, as well. So we're doing it. Mr. Brynhill says, get it done, boys. We're like 42 away from it, 41 away from it, 40 away from it. We're doing this here. This is going to be in the next couple of minutes. KOTH says, it's weird though, Ollie as an interim didn't have the players not giving a fuck. No, and I think that's the problem, is comparing Ralph's interim to Ollie's interim. Ollie didn't have all of these players that were going to leave. And I think because he didn't have all of these players that were going to leave, that had already decided they were leaving, it was probably a touch easier for him to motivate them and get them ready. And when you come in and you go, yeah, I'm here for 6 months and that's it, the players that are going to leave, I mean, Paul Pogba's supposed to have a calf injury, right? See him doing kick-ups in his house, and you're like, calf looks all right to me, our kid. And you start to question who's really fit and who's just fucked it off, and that's annoying. Only me, Bruce. Bruce says, subscribe from New Zealand, get in there, lad. Realistic club to sell Maguire? I really don't know. Tell us a story of the Rashford shirt behind you. Well, Marcus, give me that shirt. It's a worn one. I believe it's from the England photo shoot. It's not a match worn one, but I believe it's from the photo shoot that they do, like ahead of the Euros or something along those lines. If I hit 200k, will I wear an Adidas hoodie tonight? No, I will do it in my Chevrolet. They don't even sponsor us anymore, do they? Yeah, Jay's had pelters off that today. It's quite funny though. I can't believe they framed him up, saw the boycott Adidas thing behind him and was like, yeah, that looks good to me. Erwin says, Steve, what do I think on the interest in Kante? I mentioned it on a video a couple of days ago, and I like the links with Kante. You're not going to get everything you want. You can't get everyone in the perfect age profile, but it's a player with a lot of experience that we really need. And I could see him being the perfect person if we don't get the one that we want. Peter Kelly says, Villa get 15 mil if City win the league. Is that included in the £100 million fee, or was the £100 million fee the agreed fee, and then it was like, so is it 115 million is what I'm asking, essentially? Because that's fucking mental. UTFR says, Ollie was and is a shocking manager. Well, if Ollie was a shocking manager and he came fucking second and third, I don't know what the fuck a good manager looks like. Because he's saying that the good manager only wins the league. That's a bit mad. And especially when you see the fall off that we've had under Ralph, I actually think what we was doing is more impressive. We're stuck on 967. We need 33. 33. Richie says, do I think we would be different with Greenwood this year? I actually think we might be, actually. But we don't have him for whatever reasons. And that's that. Have I heard what PSG is offering Mbappe? Isn't it like 900 grand a week? Is it something like that? That's a lot of scratch. Hostad says, I'd take shocking right now. Yeah. We are at 31 to go. I am going to have to go in a minute, though, because I need to go and eat. And I've got other stuff that I have to do this afternoon. How many players are confirmed for transfer? Well, fucking none right now, are they? Mirlon says, Kante's ethics when it comes to his determination in his football is world class. We are down to 27 to go. Dwayne says, Solskjaer needed more experience in his staff. Getting Renier might have helped in hindsight. It's a good point. If I get 200k, am I going to tell us who's been leaking everything? I don't know who's been leaking everything. I believe Dean Henderson was one of the people leaking everything, is what I was told, but I don't think he's the only one. I certainly don't think he's the only one. I think there's several. I think something that's quite refreshing is it seems like none of the transfer leaks are currently coming out of Manchester. Has anyone noticed that? They seem to be coming very much on players' side, which I like. Nairan says, get Carrick on 5. I'd love Carrick on 5. Mick says, looks like PSG's basically offering the keys to the kingdom to Mbappe. Yes. People are tweeting Henderson is close to a Newcastle switch. A little bit of cash coming back. Hostad says, watch the 07-08 season review. Forgot how bad we started. Ends well though, doesn't it? Dean Carter says, Hugo and McNeil up front versus Palace. I think you'll probably get Garnacho, and that'll probably be a lot. Maybe Hannibal, maybe. Didn't Scholes say Lingard was a bit of a leak? I don't think he did say it was a leak. I think he said the dressing room's a fucking mess at the moment. I don't think he said he was leaking it. What's for dinner? I don't know. Mrs.'s birthday today. Happy birthday, Mrs. H. I don't know if she's in there or not. I was going to go into town and get her something, but the whole fucking camera, computer just being an absolute helmet has kiboshed that. I've got loads of shit to do today, and we might not be able to go out. Might have to deliver it in. Is there something in the Liverpool asthma thing? Yeah. Fucking albuterol, I think. Confusing Napoli with Lazio. That was fucking half an hour ago. I don't know. Would I take Matty Cash? He's better than... I think he upgrades what we've got, but I don't know if he upgrades what we need enough. Samuel says, me and Janine share the same birthday. Happy birthday, mate. Realistically, what do I see us doing with Hannibal next year? Probably needs to go on a loan, I would think. Personal terms agreed with Timber as per David Ornstein. Is that a fact? Let me check. Let's have a wee looky here. He's not tweeted anything in the last couple of minutes. Is that true? I will look into that, and if there's any truth in that, we will definitely be discussing it. Who's my dream person to interview? Fergie. It's got to be in it. David Beckham would be amazing, but he's not going to give you an opinion on anything. Fergie, I would need 35 hours to interview him. Like 15, 20 minutes or an hour isn't enough, is it? Yeah. Right. Cheers for tuning in. Let's see where we got up to. We got up to 978, 980. We were 20 away. Let's come back to this later tonight, and we'll see how close we can get to it. But cheers for tuning in. As always, subscribe if you've not already, and you're not just being a dick to see if you can be the last one to get it over the line tonight. But cheers for tuning in, everyone. Yeah, we'll probably be back later on tonight. But take it easy. Have a good day, and I'll catch up with you lot in a bit. Laters.